Okay, in this video what we're going to do is have a look at the physics, the physics materials, physics asset for our Walker vehicle. Now, I'm not going to show you how to create these things. You should have learnt that already in the other vehicle tutorials. So all I'm going to show you here is things like the physics material here. You'll see the settings up there. Now, if I remember rightly, he said, hopefully, no, probably in the materials bit. Pretty much a straight copy from the Scorpion. Okay, I haven't used. You'll understand why I'm saying this later when we get onto the code side. But I haven't used other ones from other vehicles for certain reasons. But the Scorpion physics assets, physics materials, work very well for our Walker vehicle. Okay, so it's basically just another metallic vehicle, to be honest. So all I done was basically just copied and renamed and adjusted the settings as I deemed necessary, if you could put it that way. Right, so physical materials, same as all the other vehicles, just make copies and apply. Now the physics asset, this is a little bit more than the normal vehicles, what's required. Now if you look at this, I made a physics asset for the vehicle. Now I removed, if you remember, we had a bone here in the middle between the legs. I removed the box that goes on there. Okay, so we've now got just on the main body the legs and the feet. Okay, now don't forget, make sure you apply your physics material here as well, and we're going to make it do that. Just click the simulation. Now how do we do that? Well, something we haven't covered in the other vehicle tutorials because it was not necessary, because it's very, very basic. What you have to do for this one, because we've got legs and everything moves and all the rest of it, you need to apply constraints. Now if you haven't done a physics asset for a character, then you probably won't have dealt with this at all. So go on, get on with it. Right, as you can see up here, we've got 7 bodies and 6 constraints. Okay, so what we're going to do now, you go up here where it says B, editing mode B, which is basically for the bodies, the physics bodies. Then you click on that, it goes to C, and now you can edit the constraints. Now you can't constrain the top one, the one that's on the top of the tree, being the base, okay, because there's nothing to constrain that to. But what we do need to do is edit the constraints for the legs. Now if you don't do this, when it goes into physics mode, e.g. when you kill it, then the legs will go all over the shop and it won't look right. So what we have to do is click on here, and as you can see, I've already got these set up. You got your RB constraints, that tells you what legs, joins, and where it's constrained to. You don't really want to change that. You can play around with these, but the angular one is the one that's where you got things like this, is pulley maintained. If you really want to go into depth, you can have a look at them, have a look at the other physics assets that come with UDK, and you learn a little bit more. But what we need is to limit the swing and limit the twist. Now you can see this if I zoom in here a little bit. Right, the gadget shrinks, which is great and useful. Now I'll just show you by example. If you look, if I twist this round, you can see it's only where you can see the green, that's your limit of the movement that bone will have when it goes into physics mode. Alright, now if I hit the toggle simulation, it goes back, and you can see how much that moves. Now if I go back here, now I'm going to add 45 to the swing. Now when I hit enter, you'll see that this sort of plane now turns into a cone. And if I hit play simulation, you get more of an angle here, okay, which is something you don't want because that doesn't look right. If you need that sort of movement, if you're on, say, like a ball joint, then yeah, fine. But obviously on this, you don't. So you got to watch out for things like that. Put it back to 0. Now, you can, I don't advise this, but you can actually, if you're careful, twist these round if your bones are not actually lined up correctly. Now let's see if I can get that back to 0. Go on, go on. There we go. I'll tell you what, I'll just hit Control Z. What have I done there? Hang on. There we go. Okay, I think we're safe there. Now you want to do this for each, for the upper leg, the lower leg. Now I've got mine set at 45 degrees, which is probably a bit low for some of these joints, but I'm happy with it just for the basic test. One that you have to look out for is the foot. Now you don't want the foot twisting at all silly angles, and because the bone of my foot comes out this way, out to the front, I've actually made this into a, well, limited on 10, 10, which gives you this little cone, and I've twisted it 90 degrees down so we get the movement that you see when it goes into physics mode. Okay, I know I'm not being extremely clear on this. There is a very good physics tutorial on the UDN site where one of the Epic team actually does a character. It explains all this a lot better than what I can. Okay, so if you're not too sure what I'm going on about, then just go have a look at his video and it'll probably clear things up and give you a few tips on quicker workflows. But I was just wanting to show you how this is set up and why, how to get into setting up the constraints, and then obviously go back to the normal editing mode and play the toggle simulation. Now it's gone. See, I've done something wrong. Oh, it's not. Shouldn't be doing that. Now let's go back into there. That's 45. It shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, see, twist limited. There we go. Put the tip back into that box. Somehow managed to untick that. Now if we go back into there, toggle the simulation and the legs and feet twist as I want them. Okay, so keep hitting the wrong button. So that's basically a quick run through on setting up your physics asset. Now obviously your vehicles are not going to be looking like mine. Should be a little bit better. Take a bit more time. Alright, just play around, and if you're not sure, just keep on hitting the toggle simulation until you get the effect that you're looking for. Okay, so you can edit. Yeah, you can edit these and it should work well. The other videos I mentioned on UDN, they actually go into showing a lot more on what you can do within the physics editor, and just apply those principles onto this. I mean, like I say, it's just a quick run through, and that's all I really want to do, because we're going to get into some longer videos in the near future. Okay, so we'll leave it at that, and I'll see you in the next video. He said, come on.